Hello and welcome to the last podcast for this year, which coincides with the last day of the year, which happens to be Sunday, and which basically is New Year's Eve. And yeah, it's been a very hectic year so far. Try to be as productive as I can be. But yeah, overall, it's all about moving the needle forward. Anyway, today we want to touch on developing mental resilience and how we can best develop this mental resilience, because as we move about our daily lives, we encounter a lot of stressful situations. We encounter a lot of setbacks, and setbacks that usually gets us into situations that we find ourselves in situations that we don't really like, or we had not anticipated, and thus we fall into things like depression, stress, anxiety, and all that. And so this is just one of those things that I use, or a way that I use for myself to make sure that my mind stays well tuned, and it does not really waver about and not fall too deep into depression and things like anxiety. However, I still suggest that if you are on medication, if you see a doctor or psychologist, you continue with that, but you can also do what I prescribe here, just in conjunction with whatever your doctor subscribes to you, right? So developing a mental resilience. So there are 4 points or 4 ways that I want to address and how to cultivate your mental resilience, right? People may ask, why would I actually do this, right? That's simply because I've been there. I've been in stressful situations. I've been into been highly anxious, gone through a lot of anxieties, depression, and mental breakdown, you see. So some people may come to this situation and may not know what to make of it or what to do in the absence of an expert, so like a doctor, psychologist, a counselor, or anything like that, psychiatrist, and what you. And so listen to me here, hopefully that this may help, right? Especially from someone who has been there, right? Who's gone through this. So to start off, right, in this developing mental resilience, so 4 ways that I'm going to go about this. First one being mindfulness, meditation. Then we're going to go to cognitive behavioral techniques, and this will just be short synopsis of this. Then positive affirmations and visualizations, and the importance also of continuous learning, so you can adapt to situations. So starting with the mindfulness and meditation, it's best to engage in regular mindfulness meditation. This is when you're meditating. Some may maybe practicing prayer, which is a form of meditation, or anything. There's many ways, as I pointed out before, of meditating, right? So many ways of meditating. You can just sit, lay on your bed, just go for a walk while meditating. This is very important because meditation brings mindfulness, right? And mindfulness, once you are able to cultivate mindfulness, it becomes easy to cultivate awareness. And awareness is something that's very important. It's very important because once you are aware of yourself, it's easier to be aware of situations that you are in. You can be aware of where you're going and how you're going to go about it, right? This brings self-awareness, and how it's very important to be self-aware so that you are not caught off guard. And once you're self-aware and you're aware of your situation, it's easier to focus on things. People who aren't or have no self-aware cannot focus. It's not easy for them to focus in one thing, one task. And even if they do try and handle the task, it's not focus. It's not something that they're doing with awareness. They're just doing it. And this is another reason we have what I call zombies around, right? They're just doing things mechanically without being thoughtful about the things they're doing. They're just doing it for the sake of doing it. Sometimes they think they're doing it for money or whatever, or they're hustling, but they're just doing it for the sake of doing it because they have something or they're in a situation, so they find themselves doing things that they're not even supposed to be doing because they lack self-awareness. So lacking self-awareness is something, it's dangerous in itself because like I said, you may find yourself doing things that you're not supposed to be doing because you do not know the reason you're doing it, or what is pushing you to do it, because you lack self-awareness. And once you have self-awareness on your side, right, it's easier to create resilience. It becomes easier to focus and face challenges because now you have better perspective, and you can connect your mind to whatever task you are approaching, and thus you obviously are aware of whatever you're doing, right? So in this manner, self-awareness is very important, and you can cultivate this through mindfulness and meditation. Being mindful, you have to bear in mind what you're doing, right? Meditate. Learn the best way to meditate. There's no one size fits all when it comes to meditation, right? You can take the Buddha route, you can take the Jesus route, you can even take Muhammad's way of meditating. However it is, there's just no one thing. You can create your own way. Yoga, right? All sort of things. Just walkings, meditate, going to nature, going through for a walk in nature. All that can be meditative. So there's no one size fits all for this. So you choose what you want to do. And number 2 will be I'd suggest to cultivate and learn cognitive behavioral techniques. Practice and learn cognitive behavior techniques. These would help you identify challenges, especially negative thought patterns, right? And then you can foster more or be resilient and mindful. It's one of those things that you can also cultivate mindfulness, right? Just practicing cognitive behavioral techniques, where you're just mindful of things, right? You're mindful of what you're doing, making sure your connection between what you're doing and your mind are at par, basically. You're not just doing things for the sake of doing things. And it's one way of practicing mind-body connection, right? Where your behavior and then goes at par with your body, so that these two are not in conflict. And number 3, practice positive affirmations and visualization, right? Affirmations and visualization basically are very important to boost our self-esteem, right? Though these are not like remedies that will actually take over confidence, right? Or they're not remedies that take over practical productivity, that you have to do the thing that you're supposed to do. This will actually prompt you. They can help prompt you before actually embarking on a tough situation, maybe embarking on starting something. So the positive affirmations can help in reinforcing positive mental attributes, right? And create a better positive attitude towards maybe whatever you want to embark on, like a hard task, a job, or you're starting something very tough, an exercise, training, whatever it is. So once you have this affirmation worked out, telling yourself positive things about yourself usually, and you can visualize, just visualize the outcome, right? Visualize how you're going to go through victory, how you're going to go about things, right, in a positive way. Then the affirmation and visualization it's just sort of an arsenal that enforces your plans and goals, right? These are just things that you can do for your mental resilience, right? It's not things that are tough to do or anything. Visualizing yourself, it takes practice, but eventually it becomes easier. It may not be easy at first, because we are prompted to be negative, right? It's not easy to be positive. It's not easy to think yourself to be that ideal self, right? And remember, this podcast is all about the best version of yourself, the God self. So visualizing that will actually enforce, to be something that helps you. The same as creating affirmations, right? So positively creating a way through negative situations, and you can then it becomes much easier to go through tough situations and obstacles. And number 4, last but not least, as I usually say, you should always be learning, should continuously be learning and adapting, right? Adapt to situations, adapt to new environments. This will definitely help you grow, right? It will help you grow mentally, and obviously if you're putting in the work also, it will help you grow physically. You're going to grow physically and adapt to situations, but this also needs practice. It means that you have to be learning about yourself, learning about the environment, and then adapting to that situation. So when it comes to learning, there's no way out. Continuous learning means that you have to embrace a growth mindset. Remember, we are trying to develop mental resilience, which means that you have to grow mentally also. And you should also be learning from your own experience. This is another reason we are here on earth, to experience. So whatever is good, whatever is bad, that's still experience. You're not always going to be in bad situations. Just as much you're not always going to be in good situation. It's just perspective, how you see them and how you can handle them. But since a lot of the times we are prompted to be negative, developing a mental resilience will help mitigate the negative situations that we encounter ourselves in. You see, thus this also brings a way for us. This also brings for us or to us a way to adapt. Remember, we still have to adapt to situations, and this brings a way of us to adapt through hard situations and obstacles, right? Overcoming our obstacles starts in the mind. So continuously learning and adapting, right, to situations, and also being flexible and optimistic would have a very resilient mindset. And that's what we want. We want a mental state that is resilient. We want a mental state that is flexible, that can easily adapt to situations, right? And because the world as we see it at times is too negative, there's too many obstacles, there's too many people who don't want to see you succeed because of whatever reason they may have. Nobody knows sometimes. Like I said, some are not aware of what they're doing because they lack self-awareness, they lack critical thinking. But as you grow, grow mentally and physically, and become and cultivate resilience, especially mental resilience, then you are better able or better situated to overcome a lot of the obstacles that are on your way. And hope that was well understood. These were my 4 ways of developing mental resistance, and hopefully they come in handy next time you're trying to develop into the best version of yourself, the God self. And with that said, till next year, peace to the gods.